Can you actually even lose weight without counting calories? Today I'm breaking down the 10 super easy, super simple weight loss tips and strategies that you can use that don't involve counting calories. I'm sharing all of those 10 tips with you guys in today's video. All right guys, if you're new to my channel and you don't know who I am, my name's Autumn and I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's in nutrition human performance. On my channel, I'm typically talking about the science-backed and holistic methods that you can use in order to achieve your wellness dreams. So if you have a wellness goal in mind, make sure you subscribe. Okay, so each of these tips and strategies on how you can achieve your weight loss goals without counting calories revolves around the storing hormone insulin. Insulin is studied and taught in Basic Physio 101 that it is our storing hormone. When insulin is high, it means that fat burning, or the process called lipolysis, is turned off. And when insulin is low, it means that fat burning or lipolysis is able to be turned back on. So if you truly want to achieve a weight loss goal, then you really want to be focused around this storing hormone insulin. And each of these tips revolves around that premise of keeping insulin from skyrocketing in order to help your body naturally tap into fat burning mechanisms. Which brings me to the first tip, and that's to cut out snacking. Snacking is one of the worst things that you can do if you are looking to achieve a weight loss goal, or even just eating frequently throughout the day. So if you're on like a eating every 2-hour schedule, this is only going to hurt your weight loss goals. Because here's the thing, every time you eat, it causes your body to secrete the storing hormone insulin. And when you're not eating between meals, it allows insulin to naturally dip back down, therefore turning on fat burning mechanisms. So if you're eating frequently throughout the day, you're constantly getting those little spikes in insulin and constantly throwing your body completely out of fat burning. That means that you're missing out on a lot of fat burning benefits when you're snacking. Not to mention that snacking completely shuts off this process called the migrating motor complex, which is essentially like a cleaning crew within our GI tract. It helps to sweep out the left behind food and bacteria that cause bloating. So by snacking or eating frequently throughout the day, it can also really drive up bloating too. So by removing those snacks, you can help to lower the insulin level naturally in between meals, turn on fat burning, and help to prevent bloating. But in order to actually cut out snacks, it's extremely important that you actually eat enough of the right types of foods and eat until completely satiated. Now, second tip is to eat more protein at your meals. Protein is the most satiating macronutrient, which means that it's really going to help prevent hunger, especially hunger in between those meals. In fact, protein stimulates the satiety hormone peptide YY, which helps to make it so that you can get around that 3 to 4 hour gap between your meals so that you don't have to snack. The amount you need will depend on each person. I do have a video that breaks down the details on how you can calculate your protein needs with this video right here. But typically I love to use really high quality sources of protein like eggs, Greek yogurt, meat, fish, chicken, lentils. Those are some of my personal favorites. Okay, number 3 is to add at least one high quality source of fat to your meals. Now, just like with protein, we also need fat in order to trigger satiety in order to prevent that snacking. In fact, fat helps to trigger the satiety hormone cholecystokinin or CCK. And unfortunately, this is the one that tends to be the most forgotten. You know, people are more likely to eat enough protein and not enough fat, which means if you are getting enough protein but you're not getting enough fat, you might not actually be achieving satiety, and therefore it might cause you to have that urge to snack between meals. Not to mention feeling hungry or not satiated between meals tends to drive up specifically sugar cravings, which obviously are some of the biggest drivers of insulin and will really halt your weight loss goals. Some of my favorite different fats that I like to use are avocado, olives, nuts, seeds, grass-fed butter, and coconut flakes. All right, number 4, don't pair dried fruit with nuts. This is a huge, very common mistake that I see all the time. Now, the main problem with this is that dried fruit is extremely high in sugar. And just for example, a half cup of dried mango has around 37 grams of sugar. And just a quarter cup of raisins has around 22 grams of sugar. This is a really significant amount of sugar, especially if you're someone who's already having difficulties losing weight. Various nuts like almonds and walnuts are really great sources of fat, but you kind of completely miss out on the benefits when you just pair it with a really high sugar dried fruit. All right, this next tip revolves around if you use dairy products. So number 5, make sure you're using full fat dairy. Now, full fat dairy products will contain both fat and protein. And just like what we talked about earlier, this is crucial and essential to actually achieve satiety and therefore help prevent the snacking. Low fat dairy really just removes about half of the satiating qualities of dairy. In fact, very recent studies have actually found that full fat dairy products are not related to obesity. And these studies are bringing to the attention that the current guidelines for low fat dairy products is no longer based on scientific evidence. Now, the dairy products that will be right for you will really depend on your lactose sensitivity or your carbohydrate sensitivity. I do a full breakdown of the 20 best and worst dairy products. You can check that video out right here. Okay, number 6, don't eat oatmeal for breakfast. I know, at first glance, oatmeal seems like a very healthy option. I mean, some studies are showing that it improves satiety and helps with blood glucose control, which all seem like really good things for weight loss. But when you look past the abstract and actually get into the nitty-gritty details of the study itself, they're typically comparing oats and oatmeal to a very sugary alternative such as cereal. And in this case for this study, Honey Nut Cheerios. So yeah, of course, oatmeal is going to look like a saint next to cereal that's covered in sugar. But when we actually look at oatmeal compared to other whole food products for a breakfast, it really doesn't measure up. In fact, there was a study that compared oatmeal to eggs, and it found that an egg breakfast was much more satiating and was much better at lowering hunger levels. And as we know, feeling satiated, not feeling hungry, and not snacking are really key important factors when it comes to achieving a weight loss goal. And this makes sense because oats are really high in starches, and starches are one of the main foods that are going to spike insulin. I mean, one serving of oatmeal has around 27 grams of starch. It's also relatively low in protein and fat at around 6 grams of protein and 3 grams of fat per serving. Now, oatmeal is certainly better than Honey Nut Cheerios at achieving satiety, but if you are really looking to hone in on the types of foods that are really going to maximize fat burning and help you achieve your weight loss goal, it might not be the best option. Instead, you'll want to look for those options that have a higher amount of protein, a higher amount of fat, and less of those starches. I mean, that's why I personally love using Greek yogurt bowls as one of my breakfast options. And also for my oatmeal lovers, I also have a really great grain-free oatmeal option that's in my 7-day IF detox. I'll have that listed down in the description below so you guys can check that out. And that brings us to number 7, which is eat more eggs. Or at least if you aren't vegan, eat more eggs. As noted, eggs are highly satiating. In fact, it's typically one of the most satiating foods that you can eat. It's also really high in choline, which is really important for fat metabolism. Choline is also pretty hard to get from other food sources. Unless you're eating beef liver or chicken liver on a daily basis, you're likely not getting enough choline. Now, eggs have a really intense history of some bad reputation, and ultimately that was based off some pretty sketchy science back in the day. But now, after a ton of research, a ton of meta-analysis, they've actually found that eggs are essentially a superfood with all the nutrients that's packed in it, plus with how great it is at achieving a weight loss goal. In fact, I did a whole blog post that broke down the details of the history of eggs and how they've been redeemed through science. I'll also have that link down in the description below that you guys can check out. All right, number 8, add 2 tablespoons of chia seeds to your day. Fiber is really that third leg of satiety, so the 2 most important parts of feeling satiated and helping to prevent snacking are going to be protein and fat, but that third component is fiber. And one of the easiest ways to significantly increase your fiber intake is with chia seeds. It's also rich in anti-inflammatory omega-3s, and it can just help bump up your protein a little bit further. I recently did a video on 3 super easy ways that you can use chia seeds and add them into recipes, and check out that video right here. Okay, number 9, don't use stevia and monk fruit on a daily basis. Now, these 2 sugar alternative options might seem like a good idea because they technically don't contain any sugar or any calories, but there has been research that's found for some people that they still produce an insulin response to stevia and monk fruit. This means that even though you're not actually consuming any sugar, your body could still be upregulating or increasing that storing hormone insulin. In fact, a client of mine a few months back was at a bit of a plateau, but she was using a lot of monk fruit, a lot of stevia. And in order to break through that plateau, the one additional thing that we changed was completely removing these added sweeteners or added non-nutritive sweeteners. And she instantly broke through our plateau, instantly saw results. Now, not everyone produces an insulin response to stevia and monk fruit, but if you find that you are really at a plateau and you're at a loss for what you could be doing, this is a really great strategy that you can implement. Okay, number 10, eat meals that you actually like. In order to achieve lasting long-term weight loss results, it is crucial that you're actually liking the foods that you're eating and not feeling hungry in the process. And there are really easy ways to implement the foods that you actually like and the foods that will promote satiety in order to achieve your weight loss goal. That's why I created the complete intermittent fasting bundle with the A and nutrient timing strategies so that you could actually make meals that you like, not be stuck to a specific set of recipes, and easily swap foods in and out that you enjoy. I'll have the details for that listed down in the description below as well. And if you're curious to see how this actually fits into one day and what this looks like all together, you can check out one of my recent What I Eat in a Day videos right here. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love the science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out with new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.